Dominic Wheatley, first race of the weekend done, although it was the Donington race, but we just completed a podium for you. Great result. Talk us through it.
Yeah, it was great. I'll be honest, at the end of the first lap, I didn't know if I was terrified or excited because I'd got away really well. Just probably the best start I've had in the wet. Before I knew it, I was up to 5th or 4th at the end of the first lap. But in that first lap, I've also saw my life flash before my eyes about 3 times. It was so greasy out there, just on the rubber that's been put down in the braking zones. It's like ice. So we were going into corners and you're kind of just experimenting. We had very little to go off on what it was going to feel like. So hence why there was so many people just having silly little offs where they're just a bit too fast or a bit too much on the brake, and that was it. They were off towards the barrier. So I kind of finished that first lap going, great, I'm in a great position. But then I was thinking, it's going to be so easy to throw it away. So I was sat behind Nathan in 4th. You know, Nathan drove a great race, given this is his first season in JCWs. That's his first time out racing in the wet. And I thought, you know what? I feel like I've got a bit more in me, but I'm not going to do anything stupid to try and get past a teammate in these conditions. I'll keep a bit of pressure on, and if he can withstand that pressure and get 3rd, so be it. Yeah. I'll take 4th. But the pressure just got maybe a bit too much for him. He was just trying to hustle it a bit too much, and he went off. And once I was released into 3rd, I could kind of start chasing down Jamie. And apparently I had some good times then on the board. I was just trying to focus on staying in on track, but I think maybe a few more laps and I might have closed in on them, and I might have been knocking on the door a second, but I was kind of glad when the checkered flag came out, if I'm honest. I'll take 3rd, and the car's in one piece, and we kept it on track, so good. Yeah,
it really was Donington all over again with the weather. But like you mentioned, I imagine that race, it wasn't so much about being quick, it's about being consistent and keeping out of trouble, which is easier said than done, especially on the infield there where we saw a few people go off.
Yeah, like I say, I even in my mirrors I could see in the first couple of laps people kind of going into braking zones, and then all of a sudden I'd see them kind of shoot across my mirrors as they went off towards the barrier, and just everything was telling me, just keep it on the track. The only way you're going to get a good result here, a 3rd or a 4th, or however it finishes, is that all 4 wheels stay off every curb and every bit of white line, and just keep it very much on the black stuff and away from the rubber. And so that was my strategy, just 20 minutes just nibbling away, trying to find, can I be a bit faster here, can I be a bit faster there, but taking no risk doing it. That's what was needed, and it paid off. But like you say, very much, considering this race was a rained-off Donington race, to be out in the wet at least keeps it the same conditions. We might be at a different track, but at least it was a wet race that we had to challenge ourselves with. So that was good, and we'll see if it stays wet now, because I think it's stopped raining now. We have another race, an actual Snetterton race later today, and we'll see if it dries up in time, or maybe it's a weird 50-50 like we had in the last race at Donington, where everyone was on wets apart from Lewis, who was very sly and went on the slicks. And then wet races again tomorrow, so we've got a real mixed bag ahead of us, and just try and do the same again is the plan.
Would you prefer it to be one thing or the other, even if that one thing is really wet and a bit sketchy? Because I imagine that's a bit trickier at times when, if you've got that weird mix of whether it's wet, whether it's dry, and then still it being slippery, I guess.
Yeah, it's uncomfortable as a driver because it's risk, right? It's you go into corners and it's different from the lap before, it's different from the session before. You have to experiment while you're racing, so you don't have that luxury of kind of just trying a thing and it didn't work, it's all right, I'm just a test day. It's it's got its risk reward, so you've really got to balance it. On the flip side, I'm quite happy in the wet, I'm quite happy in the dry. I'm one of the older boys on the grid, so I've experienced those awkward kind of 50-50s, and I know how to approach them. So I'm more interested in, I'll have whatever they don't want, and I'll take that. That's my battlefield, I think.
Yeah, that's fair enough. Best of luck for the rest of the weekend, and keep up the good work.
Fantastic. Thank you.